Have you ever noticed how the loudest voices in the room are rarely the wisest? Think about it. The people who truly understand life, who radiate calm in chaos, who seem unshakable, they're often the ones who speak the least. Why? What do they know that the rest of us don't? Today, we're diving into 10 Stoic secrets, why the wisest stay silent. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see silence not as emptiness, but as a superpower. Now, before we begin, don't skip ahead. What I'm about to share isn't just philosophy. It's a way to transform how you navigate conflicts, relationships, and even your own mind. Each of these secrets builds on the last, so if you jump away, you'll miss the tools to unlock a quieter, stronger version of yourself. Stick with me. The ancients called this wisdom. You'll call it life-changing. Secret number 1. Silence is the armor against foolishness. Let's start with a question. How many times have you regretted something you said in anger, fear, or pride? The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But here's the twist, that power begins with not reacting. When someone insults you, when chaos erupts, or when your ego screams to defend itself, silence is your first line of defense. By pausing, you rob the moment of its power to control you. The Stoics called this apatheia, freedom from destructive emotions. Think of silence as a shield. Epictetus, the former slave turned philosopher, put it bluntly, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The wisest don't just stay quiet to avoid mistakes, they're strategic. They know words wasted on frivolous reactions are words stolen from meaningful action. Secret number 2. Listening is the doorway to understanding. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your voice. It's about elevating your awareness. Seneca, the great Stoic teacher, wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. But kindness starts with listening." Imagine you're arguing with someone. Your heart races, your mind prepares retorts. Now pause. What if instead of rebutting, you listened? Not to win, but to understand. The Stoic sage knows that every person acts from their own perception of good. Even if they're wrong, your silence creates space to see their perspective and respond with virtue. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, once said, "The reason we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth is so we might listen more and talk less." Silence here isn't passive, it's active curiosity. The wisest stay quiet because they're too busy learning. Secret number 3, silence guards your inner peace. Let's get real. How much of your mental exhaustion comes from unnecessary chatter, gossip, complaints, debates about things you can't control? The Stoics saw this as spiritual pollution. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Calm isn't found in adding noise to the world. It's found in subtracting it. When you refuse to engage in every drama, you protect your peace. Think of your mind as a fortress. Every word you don't say is a brick in its walls. Here's a modern example, social media. Scroll through any platform and you'll see endless arguments, politics, opinions, keyboard warriors. Now imagine applying Stoic silence. What if, instead of firing back, you closed the app and walked away? That's not weakness, that's discipline. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Secret number 4, what you don't say defines you more than what you do. Ever met someone who constantly boasts about their achievements? Contrast that with someone who understates theirs. Who do you respect more? The Stoics believed that true virtue speaks for itself. Seneca wrote, "A man's greatness is not measured by his eloquence, but by the purity of his will." In other words, your character isn't proven by your words, it's proven by your actions. The wisest stay silent because they're too busy doing to bother explaining. Think of a tree. It doesn't announce its growth, it simply grows. When you focus on living virtuously, practicing courage, justice, temperance, your silence becomes a testament to your integrity. Words in this light are almost unnecessary. Now, I need you to stay with me here, because the next few secrets are where most people stumble. They hear the basics of Stoicism, but they miss the depth. What's coming next is the heart of why silence isn't just a tactic, it's a way of life. Don't click away. The Romans didn't build an empire by quitting halfway through, and you won't build resilience by skipping the hard truths. Secret number 5. Silence teaches you what you can and can't control. Let's talk about the Stoic dichotomy of control, the idea that some things are up to us and others are not. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But here's the catch. Your thoughts are yours to master. The world outside, not so much. When you stay silent, you train yourself to discern what's worth engaging with. For example, someone criticizes your work. You can't control their opinion, but you can control whether you internalize it or use it to improve. The wisest don't waste energy defending themselves against every judgment. They ask, "Is this within my power?" If not, they let it go. Epictetus put it perfectly. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Silence here is a filter. It forces you to confront your own reactions before blaming others. The less you say, the more you see what's truly yours to fix. Secret number 6. Humility is born in quiet rooms. Ever met someone who needs to be heard, who interrupts, corrects, or dominates conversations? The Stoics saw this as a form of insecurity. True confidence doesn't shout. It's quiet, steady, and unthreatened. Seneca wrote, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." Think about that. The need to prove yourself, to assert your intelligence or status is a kind of suffering. It's a fear of being overlooked, but the sage doesn't fear obscurity. Why? Because humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. When you choose silence, you reject the hunger for validation. You become like Socrates, who said, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." The wisest stay silent because their self-worth isn't tied to the noise they make. Secret number 7. Silence is a mirror for others. Here's a psychological truth. When you stop filling the air with words, people reveal themselves. Think of silence as a blank canvas. What others project onto it, anger, insecurity, curiosity, tells you everything about them. Marcus Aurelius observed, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." If someone tries to provoke you, silence becomes a mirror. It reflects their chaos back at them, exposing the emptiness of their words. Suddenly, they're the ones who look foolish, not you. This isn't manipulation. It's observation. The Stoics called this prosoche, attention to the present moment. By staying silent, you become a student of human nature. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your reaction, or lack thereof, speaks louder than any rebuttal. Secret number 8. Words are currency. Spend them wisely. Imagine your words as gold coins. Would you toss them into every conversation or save them for investments that yield returns? The Stoics viewed speech as a sacred tool. Waste it and you devalue it. Zeno of Citium taught, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. A clumsy step heals faster than a reckless word." The wisest stay silent because they understand the cost of misspent language. Every complaint, every idle rumor, every heated opinion drains your inner reserves. But when you speak sparingly, your words carry weight. Think of Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, 272 words that reshaped a nation, or Marcus Aurelius's Meditations written in private, never meant to be published. Brevity isn't just the soul of wit, it's the soul of wisdom. Stay with me. I know we're diving into heavier truths here, but this is where Stoicism separates the curious from the committed. The next 2 secrets are why most people never tap into their full potential. They quit before the lesson clicks. Don't be one of them. The Roman Stoics didn't just talk about perseverance, they lived it, so can you. Secret number 9, silence builds legacy, not noise. Let's talk about legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? Viral tweets, heated arguments, or a life of quiet integrity? The Stoics believed in memento mori, remembering you will die. But this isn't morbid, it's clarifying. It asks, what will outlive you? Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have so little time, but that we lose so much. Time lost on trivial words is time stolen from meaningful work." The wisest stay silent because they're too busy building. Think of Michelangelo, who said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Silence is the chisel, your actions, the masterpiece. Even nature teaches this. A tree doesn't scream when it grows, it just reaches for the sun. When you focus on doing rather than declaring, your legacy becomes undeniable. Secret number 10. Silence is freedom finally. The ultimate Stoic secret. Silence isn't restraint, it's liberation. The fewer words you spill into the world, the fewer chains you carry. Epictetus, who was born a slave, understood this better than anyone. Freedom is secured not by the fulfilling of desires, but by the removal of desire. When you stop craving the last word, the spotlight, or the approval of others, you become unshackled. Your silence is no longer a tactic, it's peace. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly, you don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. The world will always be loud. But you can choose to be the calm in the storm. If these secrets feel challenging, good. Wisdom isn't supposed to be easy, but what's coming next will tie them all together. The how. How to practice silence daily. How to respond when silence feels impossible. And the one question you must ask yourself before speaking another word. This is where philosophy becomes practice. Don't miss it. Let's pause for a moment. You've just learned the why behind Stoic silence, the principles that guide the wisest among us. But philosophy without practice is just poetry. So how do we turn these secrets into habits? How do we stay silent when every fiber of our being wants to react? That's where the real work begins. And before you think about skipping ahead, don't. What I'm about to share are the tools the Stoics themselves used to cultivate unshakable composure. Tools you can start using today. Tools that turn theory into transformation. Stay with me. This is where the magic happens. The daily practice of Stoic silence. The ancient Stoics didn't wake up wise. They practiced wisdom every single day. Seneca wrote, "Every day, acquire something that will fortify you against poverty, against death, against other misfortunes as well." For us, that something is silence. Here's how to build it into your life. The morning pause. Before you speak to anyone, before you check your phone, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Marcus Aurelius began his days with this line. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Use this time to set an intention. Today, I will listen more than I speak. The 3-gate test. Before saying anything, ask, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? This isn't just a cliche, it's Stoic discipline. Epictetus taught, first, decide who you want to be, then, do what you must do. If your words don't pass through these 3 gates, let them dissolve into silence. The evening reflection. Seneca ended his days with a simple question, what did I improve today? Where did I fail? He called this practice evening reckoning. It's not about guilt, it's about growth. Review moments you spoke impulsively. Ask, could silence have served me better? When silence feels impossible, let's be honest, some situations test your resolve. A co-worker takes credit for your idea. A loved one misunderstands you. A stranger insults you online. The heat rises in your chest. How dare they? Here's where the Stoics would tell you to zoom out. Marcus Aurelius wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Silence in these moments isn't about swallowing your voice, it's about reclaiming your power. Try this. Visualize the situation as if you're watching it from a mountaintop. The people involved are small, their voices faint. Does their opinion change the horizon? Does your reaction alter the sunset? Epictetus said, man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. Silence gives you the space to choose your view, the art of the unspoken response. Sometimes silence isn't enough, you have to speak. But the Stoic way is to respond, not react. Here's the difference. Reaction, impulsive, emotional, self-focused. Response, calm, deliberate, virtue-focused. Seneca gave timeless advice, speak only when you're calm. A storm is no time for navigation. If you're angry, delay your reply. Say, I need time to think. Even a pause of 10 seconds can diffuse a lifetime of regret. And when you do speak, borrow the wisdom of Zeno. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that ratio. Let your words be fewer, softer, and loaded with purpose. Silence in the digital age. The Stoics never face Twitter trolls or Instagram envy, but their principles still apply. Every notification is a test. Every comment section is a battleground. Marcus Aurelius warned, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." So ask yourself, does this deserve my attention? Most of the time, the answer is no. Try a digital silence fast. For 1 hour a day, mute your devices. Use that time to read Seneca. Leisure without books is death, a tomb for the living. Replace scrolling with studying. Replace reacting with reflecting. I know this isn't easy. We're wired to defend, to explain, to be heard. But remember, silence isn't a punishment. It's a privilege. The privilege of self-mastery, the privilege of peace. And if you're still here, still listening, that means you're ready to claim it. But before we close, there's one final piece. A question the Stoics ask themselves every day. A question that will redefine how you communicate forever. Don't miss this. We've walked through the secrets, the practices, the hard truths. Now let's end where all great Stoic journeys do, with a single piercing question. A question that will determine whether your silence becomes weakness, or strength, fear, or freedom. This is the cornerstone, the keystone. The moment philosophy becomes alive in you, stay with me. This is the key to everything. The Stoic question that changes everything. Before you speak, ask yourself, what virtue does this serve? The Stoics divided virtue into 4 pillars. Wisdom, seeing reality clearly. Courage, doing what's right despite fear. Justice, treating others with fairness. Temperance, acting with self-control. If your words don't align with one of these, stay silent. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Silence, when rooted in virtue, isn't passive. It's a declaration of who you are, the ripple effect of silence. Your silence doesn't just change you, it changes the world around you. Think of a stone dropped in a pond. The ripples spread far beyond the initial splash. When you refuse to engage in gossip, you elevate conversations. When you listen instead of interrupting, you deepen relationships. When you respond with patience instead of anger, you disarm conflicts. Epictetus said, "You are a little soul carrying around a corpse." Morbid, maybe, but it's a reminder. Your time here is limited. Why waste it on words that don't matter? A challenge from the ancients. The Stoics were big on challenges. So here's yours. For the next 24 hours, practice deliberate silence. Not total muteness, but intentional speech. Before you say anything, pause. Ask, is this necessary? Is this kind? What virtue does this serve? Keep a journal of what you wanted to say, but didn't. You'll be shocked by how much of your speech is automatic, impulsive, or ego-driven. Seneca wrote, "It does not matter how long you live, but how well." And living well starts with speaking well, or not speaking at all. The sound of wisdom, men. A world addicted to noise, silence is rebellion. It's resistance, it's revolution. The wisest stay silent, not because they have nothing to say, but because they know the cost of saying it. They've mastered the art of listening, the discipline of restraint, and the courage to let their actions roar. Marcus Aurelius left us with this: the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let your thoughts and your silences be deliberate. Let them be virtuous, let them be stoic. And when you're tempted to break your silence, remember Epictetus, no great thing is created suddenly. Wisdom is a slow burn, but with every quiet moment, you're adding fuel to the fire. If you've made it this far, you're already different. You've absorbed the secrets of the Stoics. You've felt the weight of their wisdom. Now the choice is yours. Will you let silence become your strength, or will you drown in the noise? The ancients are rooting for you. So am I. Go be the calm in the storm. Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life. Seneca.